Welcome to the deep dive. Look, we know you're here because you want that edge, that shortcut maybe, to
Mhm.
being really well informed,
hmm
especially on big topics like acquiring wealth. It's ambitious, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing today. We're diving into Napoleon Hill's classic, Think and Grow Rich. Some core principles, really.
Yeah, pulled from a great summary video focusing on the top takeaways. And look, it doesn't matter if you're thinking trading, investing, starting a business, whatever path you're considering.
The mindset is key.
Yeah,
It's everything, really.
exactly. That's the message.
Mm.
Your mindset is paramount.
And sure, some people might just, stumble into wealth by luck.
Right, sheer chance.
But this deep dive, this is about taking responsibility. It's about optimizing your chances, your opportunities.
Mhm.
And it boils down to this core truth Hill talks about. If you do not conquer self, you will be conquered by self.
Ooh,
That's powerful.
it is. So we're going to unpack how your thoughts, your desires, that deep commitment, how they aren't just abstract concepts, they actually shape your destiny. Okay, let's get into it then. This first takeaway is so fundamental, isn't it? It sets the whole stage. It is what you think that matters.
Mm-hmm.
Hill's phrasing is just so direct. Truly, thoughts are things, and powerful things at that, when they are mixed with definiteness of purpose, persistence, and a burning desire for that translation into riches.
Yeah.
Just think about that. If you can't even imagine achieving something in your own head, how on earth could it happen in reality?
Well, exactly. And what's really interesting, is how modern science is kind of catching up to this.
Right, brain plasticity and all that.
Yeah, our brains literally build pathways based on what we focus on consistently.
Hmm.
So Hill wasn't just being poetic. Our mental blueprints, they actually prepare us, help us notice and act on opportunities we'd otherwise just miss.
So every achievement, every fortune, it starts as an idea.
Every single one. Think about the big names, the leaders, Gandhi, Washington, Martin Luther King. These huge successes started as a thought, a dream maybe, but one they held on to with real conviction.
It's a powerful concept that thoughts aren't just noise, they're tangible forces. And you have this incredible power, this ability to control your own mind, to choose the thoughts you let in, the impulses you act on.
That's the core. And when a thought is backed by that strong desire, Hill says it has this almost alchemical quality. It tends to transmute, to change into its physical equivalent.
Okay, but here's the flip side, the danger, right?
Mm.
What if you're not doing that? What if you're not consciously feeding your mind those positive, definite thoughts?
Ah, that's such a critical point. Your subconscious mind, it doesn't just go blank if you ignore it.
It's not idle.
No, it's like a garden, right? If you don't plant flowers, weeds will absolutely take over. It'll just absorb whatever is floating around, unintentional thoughts, negative eyes, whatever reaches it.
So leaving it to chance is risky.
Incredibly risky. The book puts it very starkly. If you fail to control your own mind, you may be sure that you will control nothing else.
Wow. Okay, control your mind or it controls you. Simple as that.
Pretty much.
And that idea, taking ownership of your thoughts, it leads right into the next big takeaway. The fuel, you could say. The power of a burning desire.
Yeah, and the key word there is burning.
Right. Not just, a vague wish. Everyone wishes they had more money or success.
Mm-hmm. Fleeting thoughts. The universe, as Hill sees it, doesn't really respond to those.
So what does it respond to?
It responds to something way more intense.
I am.
A burning desire, a desire that's backed up by definite plans, by persistence, like real follow-through.
Okay.
The book tells this great story, this anecdote about an ancient warrior. They arrive in enemy territory, massively outnumbered,
Yeah.
and the warrior orders his men to burn all their ships, all of them.
No turning back.
Exactly. No retreat possible. They had no choice but to win. And, well, they did. That's the essence of it, that absolute commitment. Failure is just not an option.
That story really paints a picture, doesn't it? It's
Yeah.
not just wanting something badly. It's making that conscious decision that you will succeed, period.
Right. And the book even says God seems to throw himself on the side of the man who knows exactly what he wants if he's determined to get just that. It's about that level of conviction.
Okay, so how do we cultivate that? How do you take that intensity and turn it into something practical, something actionable?
Well, the inner fire, that has to come from you, right?
Yeah.
But Hill gives us a very practical 6-step method, a framework for turning that desire into reality. Let's use money as the example, since it's central to the book.
Okay, walk us through it.
All right, first, fix a specific amount, not just a lot, but a definite number in your mind.
Okay, specific number, got it.
Second, determine exactly what you'll give in return. Time, effort, skills.
There's no free lunch, right?
Makes sense. Something for something.
Third, set a definite date. A deadline for when you intend to have it. Creates urgency.
Right, a target date.
Fourth, create a definite plan. How are you going to get there? And crucially, start immediately, right now. Don't wait until you feel ready.
Action is key. Don't just plan, do. Fifth, write it all down. Those first 4 steps, the amount, what you'll give, the date, the plan. Make it a clear, concise statement.
Put it on paper. Makes it real.
And finally, step 6, maybe the most intriguing. Read that written statement out loud, twice a day. Morning when you wake up, and night before you sleep.
Okay, this is the auto-suggestion part.
Exactly. Auto-suggestion.
It sounds a bit like affirmations or visualization, things we talk about today. You're basically drilling it into your subconscious.
You are. You're programming it, telling it what you want so clearly and repeatedly that it starts to believe it. It's not about tricking yourself. It's about building absolute faith that you will achieve it.
Building that unwavering belief.
Precisely. But that mental programming, it needs action to have real teeth. Which brings us right to the third takeaway. This is about becoming, well, an unstoppable force persistence.
Right. Action and follow through.
And the story of Henry Ford here is just perfect. He had this vision, right? An 8-cylinder engine, cast in one single block.
Yeah, which was revolutionary at the time.
Totally. But his engineers, they kept saying, impossible, can't be done.
I love this part. They come back, probably exhausted, saying they've tried everything.
Exactly. And Ford's response, just legendary.
Yeah.
Go ahead and stay on the job until you succeed, no matter how much time it takes.
Just keep going. Don't accept impossible.
And eventually, they figured it out. It wasn't magic. It was just sheer, unrelenting persistence. That grit, as we might call it now, that's often the difference maker.
Yeah, it really is. It drives home that core message. No one is ever defeated until he or she has accepted that as a reality. You only lose when you quit.
That's it. And persistence isn't just like a nice-to-have trait. Hill sees it as essential. He has this great analogy.
The steel one.
Yeah. There may be no heroic connotation to the word persistence, but the quality is to the character of a man what carbon is to steel. It strengthens you, makes you resilient.
So persistence is like insurance against failure. It means you keep adapting, keep learning, keep pushing, even when things get tough.
Exactly. You don't just fold when your form plan hits a snag.
So what's the takeaway for us listening? It's understanding that getting something for nothing, that's mostly a myth, right?
Pretty much. It might look like some people have it easy, but Hill's clear. The grass is not greener on the other side.
Yeah.
Everyone pays a price.
So the key is stick to your plan and win. Don't get distracted. Don't give up.
It comes back to that old saying, doesn't it? A quitter never wins and a winner never quits. That refusal to quit is the carbon in your steel.
Absolutely. Okay, so if persistence is the steel, what about finding another source of intense energy? This next one might surprise some people.
Yeah, the fourth takeaway is definitely attention grabbing. The power of sexual energy.
I know, right? When you first read it, it stands out. Hill says it's the most powerful human desire.
He lists the top 5 stimulants: friendship, music, a burning desire for riches, love, and right at the top, sex.
It's quite a statement. He even mentions the Trojan War, the belief it was sparked by this desire.
And think about the biological aspect, like observing castrated animals. It really underscores how deep-seated and powerful this energy is.
But he's not just talking about the desire itself, is he? It's about what you do with it.
Exactly. It's about transmutation. That's the key word here. He'll notice that top achievers often have highly developed sexual natures.
Right.
But the insight is this: the transmutation of sex energy to energy and creativity in other endeavors is a primary source of genius. It's about rechanneling that intense drive.
So not suppressing it, but redirecting it.
Precisely. Taking that focus, that passion, that creative force, and aiming it deliberately at your goals, your business, your art, solving problems, harnessing that vitality.
The energy must be transmuted from desire for physical contact into some other form of desire and action before it will lift one to the status of a genius. It's a quote, right?
That's the one. It's about elevating that raw energy.
So why don't more people use this constructively? Hill notes that most people misuse it, right? Often unintentionally.
Yeah, through misunderstanding or lack of control, it can actually hold people back. He also suggests it's one reason why many don't hit their stride until, say, after 40. It takes time to learn to manage and direct this energy, alongside gaining wisdom and confidence.
And let's be honest, our modern world makes it even harder, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Constant stimulation, endless distractions. It takes serious willpower now. You need new habits. You need to actively cut out things that drain that energy unproductively. It's a challenge.
A huge challenge, but potentially huge rewards if you can master it.
Definitely. And mastering any of this, applying this whole philosophy effectively, hinges on clearing one more major hurdle.
Ah, the final piece of the puzzle.
Right. Our fifth takeaway. Conquering the 6 ghosts of fear. Hill is adamant. These fears are just states of mind. They exist only in your mind, and you can learn to control them.
Okay, let's break them down. Recognizing them is the first step, right?
Absolutely. First up, the fear of poverty.
What does that look like?
Often, it's kind of an indifference towards money, ironically, or just a lack of ambition. Because if you're constantly worried about just getting by, your mind can't really focus on abundance or creating wealth.
Makes sense. You're stuck in survival mode, so the solution.
Make an absolute decision. Decide that whatever you can acquire by giving your all, that's enough. That decision itself can release the paralyzing worry.
Okay, what's next?
The fear of criticism.
Oh, that's a big one for many people.
Huge. It shows up as nervousness around others, self-consciousness. It just kills initiative, makes you afraid to put yourself out there.
And the solution?
Simple, but not easy. Stop worrying so much about what other people think or say. Dare to be you. Be a little cringy sometimes, maybe. Just do your thing.
Easier said than done, but crucial. Okay, fear number 3.
The fear of ill health.
I think we all know someone, or maybe ourselves sometimes.
Right. A common symptom is using minor illness, maybe even faking it slightly, as an excuse for not doing things. Laziness disguised, or becoming obsessed with symptoms.
Googling every little ache.
Exactly. Hill saw this way before the internet. The solution: forget symptoms. Stop looking for them. Stop dwelling on them.
Focus on health, not illness. Got it.
Next, the fear of loss of love of someone.
Symptom.
Jealousy is a big one. Neediness, clinginess.
And the counter.
Decide, truly decide, that you can and will get along without romantic love if necessary. If you're single, build a life you love on your own. Make relationships a bonus, not the entire foundation of your happiness.
Build self-reliance. Okay, 5th fear.
The fear of old age.
How does this show up?
Speaking apologetically about your age.
Yeah.
Acting like it's a weakness, something to hide.
Right, the solution.
Accept aging. See it not as a handicap, but as a blessing. It brings wisdom, self-control, perspective, and, hey, hopefully compound interest has been doing its thing too.
Huh, good point. All right, the last ghost.
The fear of death.
The ultimate fear for many. Symptom.
Constantly thinking about dying instead of focusing on living. Worrying about the afterlife. What happens next?
Yeah, wasting precious time worrying about the inevitable.
Exactly. The reason to conquer this is obvious, isn't it? You can't be happy or productive if you're preoccupied with, as Hill puts it, fires of hell, or wearing a nightgown. Except the endless nap is coming for everyone, and focus on making the most of the time you do have.
Live fully now. So across all these fears, the underlying message is
That nothing life has to offer is worth the price of constant worry. Letting go of that constant anxiety frees up so much mental energy.
absolutely. Okay, so let's quickly recap the big 5 takeaways from Think and Grow Rich that we've covered.
All right, first, remember, it's what you think that matters. Your thoughts have real power.
Second, cultivate that burning desire. Know exactly what you want and be determined, because God seems to throw himself on the side of that person.
Third, persistence. Become unstoppable. Remember, a quitter never wins and a winner never quits.
Fourth, recognize the power of sexual energy. Learn to transmute it, channel it towards your goals.
And finally, fifth, you have to conquer those 6 ghosts of fear. They only exist in your mind, and overcoming them is essential for greatness.
Okay, so here's a final thought to leave you with, something to really chew on. If every achievement truly starts with just an idea, and if you really do have the power to control the thoughts you focus on, what incredible, maybe seemingly impossible idea will you choose? What idea will you pursue with that burning desire, that unwavering persistence, knowing deep down that the biggest thing holding you back might just be your own fears?
Something to really consider.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Think about that. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and we'll catch you on the next one.